of fear. Fear is a spirit. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but he has given to us rather the spirit of power, the spirit of love, and the spirit of a sound mind or intelligence. God never gave us the spirit of fear. Fear is a spirit. Job was highly spiritual, yet had that spirit of fear. In Job chapter 3 verse 24 and 25, he said, the thing which I feared is come upon me. Hear this. Our father told us in the first service, no matter how highly spiritual a man may be, if he subscribes to fear, he has become vulnerable to the devil. There is nothing to fear in fear. The moment you become afraid, you have subscribed to the channel of satanic oppression. Will you say with me, I will not be afraid? Let me hear you louder right now. Because death cannot kill without the spirit of fear. Hebrews chapter 2 verse 14 and 15. Death cannot kill without the spirit of fear. In verse 15, or let's read 14. Verse 14, please. He said, for as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he himself likewise partook of the same, that through death he may destroy him who had the power of death, that is the devil. He doesn't have anymore. And delivered them who through the fear of death. Nothing imprisons a man or woman like fear. Who through the fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. Death cannot kill without the spirit of fear. I like to see the spirit of fear as a poison in the realm of the spirit. The snake is not as powerful except for the poison in the mouth of the snake. Once you allow fear find its way into your life or my life, we become powerless against the forces of hell. You and I have heard that testimony. A boat capsized or so, and then this brother was sinking, and he screamed from that depth of the sea, I refuse to die. The same boat that capsized, perhaps someone already began to cry, Orimio, Orimio. Somebody said, I refuse to die. And according to him, an invisible hand grabbed him up. You know, fear is faith in reverse. Whatever you are afraid of is what you believe negatively could happen and would happen. But he said, I refuse to die. Fear was dispelled and faith came alive. And you know, you and I know what happened. That invisible hand brought him to the shore where he got rescued. I'm here to announce to you that sickness that the doctor told you had will not kill you. Now hear me, there is nothing called incurable in this kingdom. It may be incurable in the world because it is a satanic oppression. But my Jesus, he went about doing good, healing all that were oppressed of the devil. Therefore, everything called incurable, in the name that is above every other name, I decree that that incurable disease is over right now. There's a story of a man I heard. I don't know if it is fictitious or real. This man was told he went to the doctor for a regular checkup. And then the doctor looked at him and said, this case is very bad. It's at the later stages. There is no help for thee. Go home, prepare yourself, because from what we see, there is no cure. That in 7 days, this man will be gone. He entered excited, he left depressed. He got home, began to plan his departure, and plan his departure. Monday went, Tuesday went, Wednesday went, Thursday went, Friday went, the 5th day. And right before the close of day on Friday, he received another phone call. And the hospital said, is this Mr. So-and-so? He said, yes. He said, we are sorry. We gave you a wrong report. The man was almost dead. Everything in him died because fear entered. Nothing called sickness was in his body, but the report was evil. And he was afraid because of the evil report and would have died without sickness. How many people in our world today perhaps may have left without no sickness, without no disease? but because of fear. In the name of Jesus Christ, that spirit of fear is cast out right now. Now, if you look at the situation of coronavirus, it was not coronavirus, it was fear virus. If you go and read this book, Jesus still heals all terminal diseases, including coronavirus. You understand that there was nothing there. I discovered while pastoring in Maryland, one of the things we did, consistently following what was happening in Canaan land, fear was killed in the assembly. Nobody had a reason to fear. In fact, we almost got in trouble with the government for not following guidelines. Hands were being laid on the sick, healings were taking place, deliverances were taking place, no mask was needed. You know one of the things that the mask does, it closes your mouth. And he said, open up your mouth wide and I will fill it. So we kept saying, we will see you next Sunday, and we will see you next Sunday, and we will see you next Sunday. And even people who were working in the medical field, treating patients of coronavirus, it never entered into them. You know why? Fear virus didn't enter. In the midst of this world going on right now, anyone that may be contaminated with fear virus, in the name of the Lord Jesus, that spirit of fear is dispelled right now. I said it is dispelled right now. This book shows you how small the virus is that the world feared. From Congo, Brazzaville, to the UK, to the United States, to Nigeria, it couldn't touch those who closed their gate against fear. Hear me. Satan is not as powerful. He introduces pictures, words, images. And if you receive them, you receive fear. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God. No devil can take us before our time. The number of our days, we all shall fulfill. Now, to deal with this spirit of fear, two things must be in place. A commitment to righteous living. Commitment to righteous living. For the wicked runneth when no man pursueth, but the righteous, they are as bold as a lion. You may have bold face without righteousness, but you can't have bold heart without righteousness. There are people who shout boldly, but in their corners and in their secret places, they are fidgety. When you know your stand and your walk with God is real, authentic, and genuine, there's nothing to fear. Paul the apostle said, for me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Dad said, for somebody to embarrass me like this, I better give him distance. He spoke against death like toy. If I go now, I'm going because I want to. Toy. And then suddenly, death left him alone to determine his departure. A commitment to righteous living. Isaiah chapter 57 verse 21. Isaiah 57 verse 21. Isaiah 57 verse 21. It says, there is no peace, saith my God to the wicked. Wicked here doesn't connote a man perhaps doing some wicked things around, but sin is wickedness. There is no peace to the wicked. So, we are not talking of right standing, but right living, right walking. Righteousness. This is therefore a call to the high standard of holiness. We must return to the high standard of holiness. 1 John chapter 3 verse 8. High standard of holiness. Running and departing from iniquity. High standard. Because he that committed sin, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. High standard. When we get to that point, fear has no place in us. The second thing to dealing with this spirit of fear is a commitment to building your faith. Faith doesn't grow by accident. Faith grows by intentional activities. Commitment to building your faith. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 3. When you do, you enter into a realm of rest. Building your